Am I going now?
You are going now.
Are we sure?
I'm positive.
Okay. Hi, I'm Brittany Speer. Yes, that's my name. And these are my top 10 movies of 2018. So, obviously, these are just my opinions, and these are only based on the movies that I've seen this year. There are a lot of movies that I haven't seen. I don't think it's possible to see every movie that's come out in a year. I mean, I'm sure people try. I have seen a lot of movies compared to most people, so I'm just going to give you my opinion on those. My picks for 2018 are definitely not going to be the popular picks, at least not according to Oliver or Jeremy. And just going over my list of movies right now, I have five sequels on this list. I'm sure you can probably guess what some of them may be. So my number 10 choice, starting it right off with something light and fun, but not really because I cried the almost entire time, is Won't You Be My Neighbor, which was the documentary about Mr. Rogers.
Won't you please won't you be my neighbor?
I really enjoyed Won't You Be My Neighbor. I feel like this was one of those movies that didn't necessarily need a wide release, but I was very happy to be able to go and see it in front of a big screen and not just at home on Netflix or watching it in my spare time. My knowledge of Mr. Rogers prior to Won't You Be My Neighbor was minimal. Mr. Rogers was one of those guys that you could just put on TV and you felt comforted. And this movie really showed that he was like that in real life as well. And I really appreciated that, and it just made me enjoy him more. This is also the only pick I have on my list that's more of a serious film. Everything else is kind of more fun or musical or comedy, but I felt that it really deserved a spot on my list. That's why I put it at number 10. And now for the fun picks. My number 9 choice for my top 10 of 2018 is Super Troopers 2, coming in hard with the sequels. Unpopular opinion time. I actually really enjoyed Super Troopers 2 more than I did the original. Super Troopers 1 was such a cult classic comedy that people quote it to this day and are still obsessed with it.
Do I look like a cat to you, boy? Am I jumping around all nimbly-bimly from tree to tree?
And that's the only reason why a second film got made. The unpopular opinion part here is that I liked the sequel more than the original movie, and I'm not afraid to say it. Overall, I just think that the second one is a better film. I really enjoyed the fact that they were in Canada, and I loved all the Canadian humor. I also really just thought that the second one had more comedic things that weren't just dumb comedy. It actually had smarter comedy and more relatable comedy than the first one. The fact that Super Troopers 2 is on this list is just a nod to my first choice. And you'll get that when it gets there. My number 8 pick for my top 10 of 2018 goes to Isle of Dogs, or I Love Dogs, however you want to say it. That is what they intended it for.
Wow.
I really enjoyed going to see Isle of Dogs. I do feel it's one of the more original movies that came out in 2018. The content was original, the comedy was original, and it's stop animation, which is super awesome, because who doesn't love a good stop animation film? Isle of Dogs was a lot of fun. I Love Dogs is also fun. I Love Dogs. Isle of Dogs. Isle of Dogs was super unique. It took a concept of talking dogs and Japanese culture and created a movie that was relatable for pretty much anyone. I love dogs. Isle of Dogs. Oh my god, I don't know which one I'm saying. Isle of Dogs. I love dogs. I think part of the reason, and now I feel like I'm adding my own bias, that I liked Isle of Dogs is because Oliver liked Isle of Dogs so much. This is what happens when you're in a relationship. You start to become one person. I am wearing his clothes right now. I love dogs. Isle of Dogs. I love dogs. Number 8. I love dogs. I love dogs. Isle of Dogs. I love dogs. Isle of Dogs. Isle of Dogs. I love dogs, and I also love Isle of Dogs. Isle of Dogs. Coming in at number 7 is probably the typical choice of 2018. Avengers Infinity War. Shocker, I liked the most marketed movie of 2018. I really enjoyed Avengers Infinity War. I don't know anybody really that didn't enjoy it. It came in at number 7. It probably could have been higher because we did see it 3 or 4 times in the theaters, which is obscene, but we had Movie Pass, it didn't matter. Back when everything was Movie Pass and nothing hurt. Obviously, I put Avengers Infinity War on here because it really was a good movie. It was really enjoyable, lots of fun, lots of different emotions happening, whether you really like the Marvel series, you're not super into it, you're a so-so fan, which is kind of what I am. It was a good movie. I guess my favorite part about Infinity War and why it's on this is because I just fucking love the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Exactly.
Bingo!
All right.
And this was a great Guardians. Considering we're probably not going to get another good Guardians movie. R.I.P. James Gunn now. There was a lot of controversy after Infinity War came out. Guardians of the Galaxy lost James Gunn, which is very upsetting. So this is probably the last really good Guardians thing that we're going to see, because it's really going to depend who they give the next movie to. I really did enjoy Infinity War, though. I feel like it was one of those movies that anybody could have gone to see and still enjoyed, having not seen any of the Marvel movies. I think it was a good choice. My next choice for my top 10 of 2018, coming in at number 6, is Crazy Rich Asians.
I've been dating for over a year now, and I think it's about time people met my beautiful girlfriend.
I really dug Crazy Rich Asians. The cast was amazing, the comedy was on point, and the seriousness was on point. Crazy Rich Asians was one of those films that I took my mom to go see it, and my mom never goes to the movie theaters. She was amazed at the fact that you can lay down in the movie theater now, and she really liked Crazy Rich Asians. Having an all-Asian cast is something new for Hollywood, and I really hope that I get to see more of that in the future, because the Asians were killing it. I think one of the things that I liked most was that it was one of those family comedies, not in the sense that it was made for kids, but in the fact that you can sit down and enjoy this with your brother or with your mother like I did. It was a movie kind of for everyone, even though it was such a niche market. I love to read also, and the book is on my list because of how good this movie was. I just hope that seeing the movie prior to reading the book doesn't skew how I feel about the book. Breakout performance was 100% Constance Wu. She was an incredible protagonist, and I think she did a great job in this film, and I cannot wait to see the sequel. And that'll probably be on my next list, because I love sequels. I love sequels! Next up on my top 10 list of 2018 is Incredibles, or Incredibles 2.
Suit up, it might get weird.
I'll be there ASAP.
Where you going ASAP? You better be back ASAP.
I am a huge Disney fan. That is no shock to anybody that knows me. So obviously Incredibles had to be on my list. Although I don't think it was nearly as good as the original, I do think that Incredibles 2 was a really great sequel. It took a really long time for Incredibles 2 to come out. I saw Incredibles 1 when I was like a teenager. So seeing it now as an adult, I still did really enjoy it, but I don't think it had as much of an impact as it did when I saw the first one. I really enjoyed the comedy. I really enjoyed the animation style was incredible. It's no surprise that Incredibles 2 is on my list. I love Disney, and this was a great movie. My next choice, my number 4 choice, which there were a lot of good movies this year. It could have been anywhere on this list, but I really loved Blockers.
I would do anything for love.
Blockers to me was a great movie. I know that it's one of those cheesy kind of comedies and not everybody liked it, and for some reason people have something against Leslie Mann, but I think that this was a great movie. I don't think that original comedies are so easy to come by nowadays. A lot of them are reboots or remakes, so I really enjoyed the fact that this was an original comedy. It was really cool to see a young female comedic cast in this movie. I feel like we have a ton of movies like Superbad that are about teenage boys, how teenage boys either lose their virginities or are on the quest to lose their virginities, and I actually think it was really cool to have that gender flip for this movie. And I have to go into my story about how much I like this movie, even though there's my mortal enemy in this film. John Cena.
Mitchell.
If you're watching this, John, we met in an airport. You were not very nice to me, and I have had a chip on my shoulder about it ever since. Yeah, I'm not over it. It was like 7 years ago. Anyway, I really enjoyed the movie despite John Cena, and I actually thought that he was pretty funny in it, which pains me to say.
Hey, you're okay with me. You're okay with me.
Fucking John Cena. It's not every day that you get a coming-of-age film about young girls and have it actually be funny and not just like sad and makes you want to cry. So it was really awesome to see that on the big screen. And the next choice on my list of 2018, apparently they're all sequels, is Deadpool 2.
God, I wish I finished college.
Once again, I liked the sequel more than the original. I know that that's an unpopular opinion, but I don't care. I thought Deadpool 2 was better than the first one. I think I like Deadpool 2 for a multitude of reasons. Ryan Reynolds is just better in this film.
Tell me they got that in slow motion.
There is better music. And Cher is at the end. And who doesn't fucking love Cher? Because I know I do. Just like my first pick on this list. If you haven't noticed, I've been trickling in little things about my number one pick the entire time. It's amazing to me that one of the things that I like about Deadpool 2 the most is the fact that he plays Turn Back Time by Cher at the end. It fits so perfectly. He does fan service not only for the fans, but for himself. And I just think that it's a great movie, and the ending was probably the best of any movie that I've ever seen, except for my number one pick, which had the best ending ever. DP2 was not only funny, but it actually made me have a lot of emotions, and I do remember myself sitting there being sad and shedding a tear. I'm sure you can assume why. One tear. I love to cry at the movies. Don't you? Don't you just cry all the time?
Hello,
always crying. My pick for number 2, and it's a shock to me that it wasn't number 1, but when you see number 1, you'll know, is A Star is Born, starring Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper. I fucking loved A Star is Born. I saw it 3 times in the theater, and I don't think it was enough. I don't care how many goddamn times they redid it. It was amazing. It was perfect. I haven't seen the other 2. I don't care. A Star is Born was amazing. Honestly, I think it was almost like a perfect film. The only negative thing that I could say is that I cried too goddamn much, and I kind of saw the ending coming. But other than that, the movie was great. I think the thing that I loved most about A Star is Born, aside from Lady Gaga's performance, because she was just incredible, and Bradley Cooper was awesome too, and he looked so hot with long hair. Pfft, loved it. Honestly, it was the music. I love the music in A Star is Born. I love it. I listen to it at work. I listen to it in my car. I listen to it when I'm at home. I love the soundtrack. I love all the music, and I think that it's absolutely incredible that Lady Gaga wrote it all. And not only did she write it all, she performed more than half of the songs, and that Bradley Cooper performed the other half. He wasn't even gonna perform it. She had to talk him into it. I don't even know how that's possible. They deserve the Oscar. That's just my opinion. Before we get to my number 1 pick for the top 10 movies of 2018, I'm gonna go into some of my honorable mentions.
How good to see you've returned from hell.
I'm sure you shall pass through it one day.
Are you glad it happened?
Star smooth.
That's her brother?
I think that might have been the best moment of my life.
Officer, I love you.
Wait, what?
And coming in at number 1 for my top 10 movies of 2018, drum roll please, Mamma Mia 2, here we go again.
I told many people.
You're about to become a great-grandmother.
Great-grandmother. I'm leaving that out of the bio.
I know for a fact this is a unique number 1 pick for pretty much anybody. Find me another person that chose this as their number 1 movie and they could be my best friend. You know, I don't think anybody else is going to have this movie as their number 1 pick. I really love Mamma Mia 2. Actually, you know what? Let me make a phone call. Hi.
What's up?
I'm filming right now. What was your number 1 pick of 2018 in terms of movies?
Probably Mamma Mia, honestly.
Yay! Mamma Mia 2 is my number 1 pick of 2018 because honestly, I think it was my most anticipated film of the year, and it did not let me down. Mamma Mia 2 was far superior than Mamma Mia, just in terms of music, set design, special effects. acting, pretty much everything. I loved all the young actors that they got to play the older versions of the characters. I think that they were actually pretty spot on, and that's probably one of the things that I liked most about the film. This movie had fucking Cher. How could I not pick it? It had Cher. It literally had Cher in the movie. Cher was in the movie. Cher hasn't been in a movie in years. It was great. I cried. I actually do really cry every time I see this movie, so that's not a joke. I cry a lot. Mamma Mia 2 was a great film. It's the Godfather 2 of musicals, in plot and quality. My favorite part of Mamma Mia 2 was Lily Goddamn James. She is, beautiful. A beautiful, beautiful woman with the voice of an angel and the ass of a god. I also thought that the music was a lot better in this film as opposed to the first Mamma Mia. The first Mamma Mia is kind of kitschy. I feel like it's one of those movies that you kind of just put on a rainy day and you watch just because it's like, oh, I like ABBA, sure. But Mamma Mia 2 was actually a good film, and I really, really loved it. It's safe to say that Mamma Mia 2 is my favorite film of the year. It had music, it had comedy, it had acting, it had Lily James's ass. I was really just a fan of all of it. One of the sadder things about Mamma Mia 2 was the fact that Meryl Streep was seldom in it. However, I do feel that Meryl Streep being in the original was probably one of its biggest downfalls because she tried to sing and it really wasn't good, but they definitely worked on that for this film, which was good because when she did make her appearance, you weren't closing your ears at how terrible it sounded. I really love Mamma Mia 2. It got a lot of emotion out of me, and if you haven't noticed that, up until this point, I like movies that can make me laugh and make me cry. That's probably my two top criterion for a movie that I like. Mamma Mia 2 is great. I couldn't have asked for anything more. It really was my favorite movie. I just loved it. Please don't judge me. I also don't care if you judge me because it was amazing. So those are my top picks of 2018. Like I said in the beginning, just my opinions, but my opinion is best, so you should definitely listen to it. And if you haven't seen these movies, you should go see them. If you'd like to see more of these videos, my boyfriend Oliver and my good friend Jeremy, they also did their top picks of 2018. And we're all going to do our worst picks of 2018, so you can find the links to all of those in the description underneath. If you like what you're seeing here today, you like listening to me talk, because God knows I can talk a lot, you can go actually watch the playlist that we're going to post of all of our ride home reviews. Most of the movies that we put on our list are on there, not all of them, but most of them are, so you can get a more in-depth description of what we thought about all these movies. Make sure to watch the ones that we didn't mention too, because that usually means that we didn't like them, and those are always fun to watch. I am Brittany Speer. Yes, that is still my real name, and I love movies. And actually kind of surprising considering the... Nope. I really enjoyed... I want to say something other than really enjoyed because I keep starting that way.
It was really
incredible. It's gonna be another Isle of Dogs.
Incredible dogs.
Incredible Isle of Dogs. Anyway.